friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica and I run a small business called Looping Teddies. And in today's video we will be going to my first ever fall market. This market was kind of interesting. We had a lot of the worst weather combo possible for a market, so it was windy and rainy, but the turnout was still amazing. So stay tuned to see all of the behind the scenes, the setup, some customer interactions, and also the big breakdown of this market at the end of this video. So enjoy! Good morning, friends. It is finally here. The day of our first fall market has finally come and I'm already at the venue. I kind of forgot to do an intro while in the car, and we've already set up. My boyfriend came with me and helped me set up because I was not sure if I was going to be able to ask somebody for help with the tent and stuff like that. So I was super grateful that he decided to come and join me and help me set up. He will leave in just a little bit and kind of like go home and come back once the market is about to end. But something about this market, so before today we never even got like a plan or a layout of how the market was going to be set up. So I did not know where my booth was going to be, and also I have been to this town where the market is at like once, and that was a couple of years ago. I didn't really know beforehand where the market was going to happen, so the organization is kind of chaotic for this market because it was kind of stressful. They sent out an email a couple of weeks ago that we had to be at our spots at 8 o'clock in the morning, and if we were not there they would not guarantee that you get a spot anymore. And the market starts at 10, so 8 is kind of early, and I also didn't really know where to go in this town. So that was kind of stressful beforehand, but it ended up being fine. I looked up online where the market was at in the past couple of years, and we just kind of drove there and then found the organizers by asking other vendors how they found their spot. And then we found the two ladies that are organizing this market and found our spot. And now we're set up. The thing that is really stressing me out is that the weather is super windy and like there's like gusts of wind that keep coming through. I do have my weights, my water weights are already set up and I'm hoping that they will hold up. But also like my plushies are super lightweight, so I'm kind of stressing about them falling and my price signs falling and my whole tent like blowing in the wind. So it's kind of stressful so far, but I think that the turnout will be pretty good because the weather is kind of like between sunny and super cloudy, so I don't think that a lot of people will go on like a day trip or something. They might just stay in town and like go over the market for a bit because the weather is kind of like mixed. Yeah, we will see. I already talked to my booth neighbors across from me. They forgot their weights, so they're kind of stressed out right now. I offered them my yarn that I brought, like cotton yarn, to wrap around like a pole, a street sign pole, in order to try and keep your tent up. So they're super grateful. I think they're like kitchen appliance people, and they already offered to make us some soup later on when they have power. So I will see if I get any soup from them. That sounds super nice because as it's windy, it's kind of cold. I'm already like wearing my jacket and wearing a warm sweater and then like a long sleeve shirt. So I'm hoping that I will be warm enough, but yeah, that's what's going on so far. I will now probably play the clips of setup and then we will see where the market will go. The market is from 10 to 6, so kind of long hours, 8 hours in total, and I will check in throughout.
Pick a movie, I'll pick you up, we'll go eat sushi, or we'll go downtown. With our best moves we can boogie. Oh my, we both look so fly, like sweet apple pie. Yeah, they want a piece of us. My, when we drive on by, they just can't deny. Yeah, they wanna be like us. Na 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 na. We are goofy, playing tag in the jacuzzi. We'll go upstairs. With our best moves we get groovy. My oh my, we both look so fly like sweet apple pie. Yeah, they want a piece of us. My oh my, when we drive on by, they just can't deny. Yeah, they wanna be like us. Na 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 na. Let them think that we are crazy when we drive around in our Mercedes. We're out all night or at home lazy. We're living like we're in the 80s. My oh my, we both look so fly like sweet apple pie. Yeah, they want a piece of us. My oh my, when we drive on by, they just can't deny. Yeah, they wanna be like us. Na, 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 na.
So instead of seeing a before footage of what my booth looked like, I will be putting up a picture right here of what my booth looked like in the beginning of the market, because as you just saw in the time-lapse of the setup, we put up my booth in a Z formation because that is most accessible for people to like walk into your booth, but also you can have some shoppers at the front if they don't want to step into your booth. But as it was nearing like 9 o'clock, 9:30, we kind of realized that I was not gonna get a booth neighbor on my right side. So my booth was going to be open to the public from two sides. And also my booth neighbors on the other side, they were about 2 meters away from my booth. So people could definitely walk in between our booths there. So my booth was mostly open to the public from 3 sides. So we decided to switch the booth setup and do a U formation. So put the big table at the front and then the 2 smaller tables on the sides, and that ended up being a very good idea because a lot of people came from my right side, so it was definitely a better idea to have the U and have people be able to look at stuff on that side, so people would already like see my booth from kind of far away, and the U shape really did its best there. Okay, update. The market has been going for 15 minutes and I'm not sure if you can hear me because it's raining so hard right now. I will insert a clip right now. I'm hoping that it stops later. Little update because there's nobody at my booth right now. It's about 12 and we've had the killer combo of wind and rain for most of the first hour, which is why it wasn't super busy in the first hour. But right now the weather is looking up a bit and it's picking up. So I've had quite a lot of sales in the past half hour or so. So super excited about this. It's quite a busy market, so definitely one I will probably be going back to because the weather is still not super great, but people are definitely out to shop. Okay, so it's about 2, so half of the market is over. We've done more than a page of sales, so pretty good. People kind of come and go in waves, so now it's kind of quiet again. I've been working on some cats. I will show them to you in just a second, but right now I just lost my needle, so I can't really finish them. and I also left my eyes at home, so I can't finish any plushies anyways. So I've been just making the bodies for the cats, and I will finish them at home. But cats have been pretty popular again so far today, and also my chubby birds. So that was great that I made some of them while I was on vacation. Guys, the craziest thing just happened. I just sold the big dino that I've had forever, and the lady just walked up to my booth and immediately grabbed the dragon and just said, I want this and I will buy this. And I told her that it was 55 euros because that has kept other people from buying it in the past. She was like, okay, that's alright. Just went ahead and bought it, so that's pretty insane. My booth is looking kind of empty because I don't want to put every single thing out because I have another market next week, so I need more stuff then. But yeah, it's crazy busy. Genau, das ist so ein Fidget Toy. Dankeschön.
Sehr schön, das ist wirklich sehr schön.
Hein? Vas-y, pousse-le bien dans le fond. Ah, c'est tout doux comme rôle.
Hallo! Faultier habe ich leider nicht.
Wäre passend.
Oh, okay.
Da stehe ich dazu. Das ist tatsächlich so, ja.
Ja.
Genau, die Pilze sind so ein Fidget-Spielzeug.
Wie lange brauchst du für ein so ein Ding?
Ungefähr 20 Minuten. Ja, ich mach's doch schon eine Weile und dann ist man irgendwann recht schnell.
Nicht den ganzen Tag. Und dann wird es ausschauen.
Ein Pilzpreis. Dann sind es 6 Euro. Dankeschön. Also viel zurück.
Danke.
Vielen Dank und viel Spaß damit.
Ja, servus.
Ciao!
Ich habe mal versucht, das zu lernen, dann habe ich mit der da angefangen. Und da ist das hier ist entstanden. Und der Rest habe ich irgendwann aufgegeben.
Ja, bei mir gibt es so ein paar ganz vom Anfang, die werden jedes Tag ganz
Ja,
schön. Also,
glaube ich. Ja, aber
es
du
wird immer
bekommst das
besser.
super schön hin, das ist alles so gleichmäßig.
Ja, irgendwann hat man es dann raus. Also am Anfang ist die Lernkurve so steil, aber wenn man es einmal raus hat, dann ist es eigentlich recht simpel. Sehr gern. Ja. Wie du möchtest. Okay, dann sind es 5 Euro bei dir. Es wird so ein Dino wie in der Kiste da drüben. Weil die Grünen sind alle weg.
Das ist ein neuer Herr.
Genau, kann man gleich wieder nachmachen. Hallo. Hallo.
Gut, dann die zwei.
Bei euch die zwei? Ja klar, gerne. Okay, final check-in for today. The market is about to end. It's 5:30 and it's going until 6. And it has quieted down quite a bit, and also my booth is looking kind of empty. I will do a short booth tour after this clip. But this market has been pretty amazing. I sold some high-priced items, like higher prices than I've usually sold. Also, I think that the average order value is quite a lot higher than it is usually for me, but we will see all about that later on when I talk more about this market and I break down all the numbers for you. But so far, I will definitely go back to this market. So, super happy with how the event turned out.
Ich stelle mich heute nicht nochmal eine Dreiviertelstunde an, damit du deine Sehr gut.
Alright, let's get into the market breakdown portion of this video. So let's talk a bit more about this market. So this market was on Sunday. It was from 10 to 6, so that is 8 hours of market, which is pretty standard where I live. So that is like the standard market times. The market was about 30 minutes away from my house, so not so bad. The thing that was stressing me out beforehand, and I think I already talked about this just a little bit, was that we didn't really get any information about the setup of this market or where our booths were gonna be placed, and even where the market was happening, like in the town. So that was kind of stressful beforehand, but I decided to just leave early on and be there quite early and then figured everything out. So I still wish they send out an email beforehand and kind of tell you where your booth is, because that is kind of like the standard procedure that has been happening for almost every market that I've ever attended. But it still turned out fine in the end, but definitely a lot of stress beforehand. So then let's talk about a couple of things that happened at this market. I think I touched on a couple of subjects beforehand. So first of all, the weather was very unpredictable. The first hour of the market was windy and rainy, which is the worst ever combo you can have for an outdoor market. My tent weights have definitely proved themselves at this market, because my tent, it was like slightly shaking, but it didn't move a bit. So definitely these water weights that I got from my last market were such a lifesaver, because the people across from me, they actually forgot their weights for their tent and their tent ended up flying. So the people that were standing at the booth were able to grab the tent before it like actually lifted off and flew away. But still, it was kind of a big struggle because 4 people had to hold onto one of the legs each. So there were like 4 people standing on the 4 sides of the tent at some point and holding it down so it wouldn't fly away. So I was so glad that my weights actually held up and I didn't have to stress so much about the weather. It was still very stressful because wind and plushies don't really mix well. So I was holding onto my plushies at some point and I had to take down some of my displays and had to put the plushies flat on the table for a bit because of the wind. But I ended up getting super lucky. Nothing fell off the table or got dirty or anything like that. I also had to push in my setup very far into my tent, so my stuff was kind of getting damp, kind of getting misted, and I had to push my stuff all the way to the back of my booth, right up to my wall that I had put up. I didn't want to put in the side walls because, as I said, I had a great opportunity of not having a booth neighbor on one of my sides, so people were able to see my booth from far away, and I didn't want to take that advantage away from me. So I decided to leave my walls down, which ended up getting my plushies kind of damp, like the plushies at the very front, which was definitely a gamble, but I think that the turnout was as great as it was because of me not putting up the tent walls and people still being able to see my stuff in the bad weather. And once the rain stopped at around 11:30, the people started to come out to this market, and it was so busy that at some point I couldn't even see my booth neighbors across from the street from me. So it was definitely super busy and it was such a great turnout. So I definitely have a lot to do. I didn't expect this market to be quite as good as it was because the booth fee was only 22 euros and 50 cents. So one of the very lowest booth fees I've ever had to pay. So I thought that the turnout was not going to be as great as it was. So I'm definitely going back to this market probably next year. They're holding 4 of these markets a year, one for Easter, one in the summer. This was the fall market, and they also have another one at the end of November. But I already have a market planned for that weekend, so I will not be attending this one, but I will definitely try to get into the Easter market because this market is just so busy and the people were so nice there. So, and also I kind of know what to expect now for like the organization part of it, so I won't be stressed out as much as I was this time. So let's get into some more of the breakdown. So let's do the 5 bestsellers first. In top 5 there's my cats. So I sold 7 of my cats and I sold them for 13 euros each now. I used to sell them for 12, but I've had a couple of price increases on some of my items and I feel like people still purchase the same items as before, so definitely these price increases were a great thing to do. So 7 cats for 13 euros each. In number 4 there's my penguins. I sold 8 of them for 10 euros each. In number 3 there's my octos, my baby octos. I sold 10 of them for now 6 euros each, so I increased the price on those as well. And then the 2 plushies that I sold the most of, I sold 11 of, and there's 2 plushies in this spot, and that's my popping mushrooms and my whales. So I sold my whales for 5 euros because they are just the simplest and easiest pattern that I offer in my inventory, and I want something for 5 euros just so little kids can pick it up easily. And then my popping mushrooms I sold 11 of as well, and I sold them for 6 euros each. Then also some, I guess, honorable mentions. I think I talked about this, but my big dragon, the orange dragon that was kind of like my mascot at this point, sold at this market, and I was honestly shocked. And let me just get into this topic shortly because that is exactly the reason why I will never lower my prices for somebody who asks or something like that. Because I've had this dragon for over half a year. I've had it ever since my first market, and a lot of people were interested in it before, but nobody ever pulled the trigger. A lot of people asked me if they were able to get a discount on this dragon, and I never gave into that, even though it was tempting at times at like slow markets and stuff like that. But I do think that everybody should price their worth, and your plushies will find their homes sooner or later. So all of this to say, please don't undersell yourself, please don't undersell your worth, please don't stress out about stuff not selling. It will eventually, and somebody will come along and they will be happily paying the full price that you put out because they just love the plushie enough to take it home with them no matter the price. So please, please, please don't undersell yourself and good things will come, I guess. So back to the rest of the video. I don't really know what I should put in its spot now because it was laying on top of my checkout station for every single market that I've ever done. So I kind of feel like exposed now because there's nothing on top of my checkout station. So I definitely need to make something to replace him. So leave me some suggestions down below of like longer, bigger plushies that I could make to put on top of my checkout station because I definitely need something there now. And then I sold another one of my bigger ticket items. So I sold my wiener dog that I've had for quite a while, and I sold it for 35 euros. And the most exciting thing is that it will actually be going to the UK. So the person who bought the wiener dog actually wants to send it to a friend of hers. So I was super excited about that. I don't think that any of my plushies have ever gone to a different country. So I'm super excited for this little wiener dog to go on its big journey. And I was also kind of shocked that I sold 2 of my bigger ticket items because that doesn't happen a lot for me. I usually sell most of small mini items under 10 euros, and then I also consistently sell quite a lot of 10 to 15 euro items, so selling 2 of those big items is definitely great for me. And also my brontosauruses were super popular this time. I sold 4 of them, and I also increased the price on them as well. I used to sell them for 20 euros each, and now I've bumped them up to 22, and I'm glad I did because I sold 4 out of 5. And the most exciting thing is that my dark blue dino finally got justice, so it has found a home finally. I've had this one since my first market, and he got finally picked up and found a new forever home, so I'm super happy for him. And I only have 1 of them left, so I definitely need to make some more of these because they have been a hit. Also, something else I wanted to touch on is my wristlets. So I sold 3 of them at this market again, and selling these wristlets was honestly one of my best ideas to incorporate at my market because I sell them for 8 euros, which I personally felt was kind of high, but people have been picking them up at my markets. I've consistently sold at least 2 or 3 of them at every single one of my markets ever since I started selling them. So if you are a plushie seller yourself, you should definitely look into that pattern. I will link it down below because it's such a great addition to your booth, and it also attracts some people that are not so much interested in your plushies to your booth. So I have had a lot of more like middle-aged people and people without children come to my booth and check out those wristlets. I can only recommend that you look at them and try them out for yourself because they have been such a great thing to add to my booth personally. Then next, let's get into the amount of sales and the amount of items I sold. So I had 76 sales at that market, and I sold a total of 99 items, so quite a lot. My average order value was higher than usual, which I think I already kind of realized while I was at the market. So my average order value this time was 13 euros and 1 cent, and it's usually around 10 to 12, so it is kind of increasing, which I think might have something to do with it being like the fall season and people are already starting to look for Christmas presents. A lot of parents actually were looking for presents for their children already, and they were looking like as a family, and one parent would move on with the kids to a different booth and the other parent would stay behind and actually purchase something from my stall for Christmas presents or like advent calendar little gifts. So definitely people are starting to look for Christmas presents, which is why I think that the average order value is increasing now. But let's get into the thing that people are most interested about, which is how much did I actually make at this market. So in total, I made 989 euros, which makes this market my most successful market ever. And I definitely think that I could have sold even more, but at some point I stopped putting out more items because I definitely need them for the rest of the season. So if I had restocked and restocked, I would have definitely made more sales even than I did. So that was my most successful market ever. I also think that one of the big things that increased my sales or made this market as good as it was is that in my area, I don't think that there's a lot of crochet plushie vendors. I know that a lot of other people struggle with having an influx of plushie vendors, but I've personally not seen that in my area, which is super, super lucky. So being the only one that sells this type of item definitely helps with sales. But let's get into my actual profit for this market. So I already told you I paid 22 euros and 50 cents for my booth, and I had to drive there and back, so that was around 25 euros of gas and mileage. And then also while I was there, I bought some food for 8 euros. So if we subtract all of the expenses that I had for this market, I still made 933 euros and 50 cents. So that was definitely my most profitable market ever. I also know that I have now a big problem because I don't have so much inventory left. So I know that I have a lot to do now because I have around 2,100 euros left in my inventory, which is still a great amount, but I also have so many markets coming up and the busy season is still coming, so I'm kind of stressed out about this. So there will definitely be a lot of market prep coming to this channel soon, and all of the fall and winter markets that are still coming up will be up on this channel in a bit once they happen. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for watching this video all the way until the end, and I will see you guys again next week. Until then, bye!